Hey, I'm Red. Today we're gonna go over guitar melodies, more specifically emotional guitar melodies like Life's a Mess by Wrld featuring Malone. And how you can easily start using the techniques used in this song to make better beats. With that said, let's begin. Life's a Mess melody is divided into three parts: a guitar, vocals, and a pad and extra effects. First, let's break down the guitar. This beat was made at 143 BPM in an A sharp minor scale, by the way. This is Life's a Mess guitar progression. Right off the bat, we can assume that there are 4 chords hidden in here, probably one every bar. So let's use the triad rule to see if we find anything. This would probably be our root since this is the lowest note. So let's count. There is a 7-step space between the root and this note, so we can assume that this is the 5th. And there is a 3-step space between this note and this one. So that makes this one our 7th chord, meaning a chord with 4 notes. But we're not using the 2nd note, which would go here. Still, this qualifies as a G sharp minor 7th. So that's the first thing we need to keep in mind. Use 7th chords. Now let's check out the other chords. If you count again, you can see that this one doesn't follow our triad rule. There are 9 spaces between the root and this note. This one also doesn't follow our rule. And the last one doesn't either. What I think happened is this: since our vocal chop melody is so prominent in the melody, you don't want to take attention away from that to focus on the guitar chord changes. So to make them as subtle as possible, you focus only on changing the root notes and try to keep the top notes as similar as possible. Because while most notes don't move, if we check our root notes, we can see that they do move down. So that's the second thing we need to keep in mind. Subtle chord changes, mostly just the roots. The last thing I want to point out is that these chords are played up with half to a full beat distance between notes. And it goes root, 5th, and 7th. And also that the last chord is the lowest in the progression. Those are the last 2 things we need to keep in mind. Start root, 5th, 7th, and the last chord is the lowest. Okay, now that we have that in mind, let's build our guitar progression. I don't want our melody to sound exactly like Life's a Mess, so now our BPM is 110. Start by choosing a minor scale. In this case, we'll use G sharp minor. Now choose a 7th chord, so root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Now let's delete the 3rd. Now play it like this: root, 5th, and 7th, like this. In this case, instead of using the 7th, I want to go up higher, so I'll take this one to a 9th, like this. Now let's add another chord below that one: root, 5th, 7th. Now to follow our subtle chord change rule, I will try to keep these top notes as close to each other as possible. So from here to here, and delete the 7th. Now once again, play them like this. Since we're not looking for that much variation, I'll simply copy the root note here and bring this note up a bit. And I'll add another chord down here since this has to be the lowest one. Once again, delete the 7th and keep the top notes similar. Now for some melodic value, I'll simply play some of the notes back at the end of the bar, like this. Now for the sound selection, I will replace this Omnisphere preset with my actual acoustic guitar and add these effects to it. RC20 to make it feel more like a sample, EQ out the high end, and some reverb to make it feel more emotional. This is it without the effects. This is it now. And that's our guitar melody. Now let's add the vocals. For our vocals, we want something that stands out, so we can't simply use ambient one-shots. We need something melodic, so for that, let's add this simple progression on Arcade using their hook library. And let's add some effects: EQ out the high end, reverb, and some delay. This is what that sounds like now. Now lastly, for the pads and effects, let's add these 5 things: some transition effects, a high-pitched version of the guitar for the bridge, a sub bass also for the bridge, some vinyl crackle for the intro, and a low-pass filter that will go away after the intro, drums for the bridge, and drums for the drop. And done! Now you know how to make emotional guitar melodies like Life's a Mess by Wrld. Before I play the final beat, if you want to download the melody loop I made in this video, there's a free download link in the description. I make 2 beat breakdowns a week, so if you want more of this, subscribe, and as always, So yeah. Also, I just released a new free trap loop kit called Paperboy. I'll release a new one every month and send it to the people in my mailing list, so if you want to be a part of that, there's a free download link in the description. So yeah.